What is going on, YouTube? It's Coffee back with another video, and this is a real sad story here, but one that I feel needs to be shared. Have you ever heard the saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease? You got to make noise. You got to be loud if you ain't getting what you need or getting help. But I don't know if help is quite the right word, as in this instance, it's not help, right? Doctor's job is to treat sick patients. And this woman was very sick. This girl, Sydney Stoner, who's now 31, her story has hit the news. And once again, it is a sad, heartbreaking story to hear. Through her 20s, she had all kinds of stomach problems, just feeling like her insides were twisted, being backed up like a bitch, then having the runs. I ain't trying to be nasty, but I just want to really share this woman's story, as it's crazy and one I feel a lot of people need to hear, especially in this country where, I've said this before, it feels like the big C, cancer, takes so many people out that if they're like seemingly have a long life ahead of them, other ailments ain't getting them, they end up having cancer. I swear to God, that feels like a story that has been so many people's story in the US of A, and so many families have lost loved ones to the big C. Comment and let me know if you have, if you've experienced it one way or another via yourself, family, friend, whatever the case may be. But bottom line, she had serious stomach problems to the point, at one point in time, she collapsed at work and like to the ground of abdominal pain. Probably having to miss some sick days as well and lose money. Just not enjoying life because her stomach's all flucked up for years. And every time she would go to a doctor, they would just say, hey, man, that sucks, but you're on your rag, or you got IBS. And IBS is like a blanket statement, a blanket diagnosis that doctors will throw out there very often as someone seemingly has stomach problems, but they don't know exactly what it is. Like, oh, your stomach's all messed up. IBS, you know what I'm saying? But she knew from what she was experiencing and going through and just living a life of torment from this condition that she had, but she didn't know exactly what it was. Something was truly wrong, and she wanted a colonoscopy. From all the research she done and everything like that, bottom line, that has to happen. So this girl is now 31, but this was going on in her 20s, and they wouldn't give her one. As I've talked about this before in another video, I think 45 is the age for colonoscopy. It used to be 50, but they lowered it to 45, and insurance companies just won't cover it, so doctors won't even push for it, and they never would for her. So the whole squeaky wheel getting the grease thing, being loud or innovative in this instance, as I was talking about, she lied and said, yo, I'm ishing out blood. So they said, all right, colonoscopy time, but they weren't even able to carry out the test because she had a mass blocking in her insides. You know what I'm saying? And it was stage 4. It had already spread to her liver and lungs, which I had a very close person to me who died of colon cancer, which I didn't know neither is the number 3 cancer in the world, and is treatable if caught early on, as most cancers really are at the end of the day. But it was already like my loved one had stage 4. It had spread to their liver when they found out, and you know, that's ended up what being killed them really is the effects on the liver over time was pretty much what did them in. But with this girl, it was in her liver and her lungs. So at the end of the day, had she not told this lie, she wouldn't even been alive until she hit 45, which is, again, the age that they say you should get that test done at. Ain't that a trip? You know, it's a good thing she came up with that lie, and they did a surgery, removed the tumor from her colon, the one from her liver, and started getting treatment on her lungs, and is still alive at 31. I think she was 27 when she found this out. And now she's sharing her story with the world and with the news. As like I said, I feel like this is something that needs to get out there, that people need to understand, because so often in life we can just become complacent with particular issues. I know I can. You know, you're trying to survive and get by day and work, pay bills, you know, the family, whatever the case may be, and still have a little recreation at times in life, that appointments can get put on the back burner. Or in this instance, this girl was going to her appointments, but they weren't doing what they needed to do. And I could totally see myself saying, fuck it, like, I tried, you know. But had she did that, she probably wouldn't even be alive at this point. And that's something with the daily grind in life in the US of A, other countries as well, but just particularly here, the way the MEDICAL system is set up, I feel like a lot of people put off their health. Like, we just don't have the time or the energy to put into thinking in depth about it. But this woman would be dead if she didn't. And you see in the news, she's sharing with people, like, don't just, if you know something's really wrong, don't just accept it. Switch doctors, do whatever you got to do. And, you know, that's very important, in my opinion, that people get a second opinion if you don't like your first opinion. And it's just so important to have a doctor that you trust and mess with. You have that doctor-patient relationship. And if you don't, find one that you can, you know, because no one wants this to be them, whether it's colon cancer or some other kind of health problem. Early detection is always key. And just staying up on things is oh so important. So, like I said, man, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. For this woman's sake, thank God she didn't just accept what they were telling her. You're on your rag. Oh, you got IBS. You know, the insurance system and the way all that industry works, right? As it's definitely an industry because it's big business, big money. It's such a shame, and shame on them for being like that, the way it all works out with the way they cover things or don't cover things, that they come up with this age of 45, which once again used to be 50 for the colonoscopy. You know, it's flucked up and it's grimy at the end of the day. You know, everything's a business in the US of A, but at the same time, and I get that there's money to be made and people and companies want to maximize their potential, but when it's coming to something that deals with survival and in people's lives and literally life or death, you think that like they could be like, hey, we want to make money, but at the same damn time, we got to be a little more sensitive that people's lives are in our hands. But they're not, and they don't care, and it's a rigged, grimy game. And, you know, shout out to this woman for saying, hey, something ain't right. I want to still live. And this game that this insurance company is playing is rigged, and this is some bull-ish. I clearly need this test. Let me conjure up a lie here to feed them that will up this test and they'll cover it. I had something similar, nothing cancer related, but one time I had an ear, nose, and throat issue, and I got my nose is busted up and healed broken, and it was flucking me all up, and the doctor was like, yo, we're gonna schedule a surgery and get your ish broke back into place. It'll help you out immensely. But the insurance company denied it. So the doc was saying, you know, we can resubmit for the surgery, but first we got to try a couple other treatments. He was saying, I do this all the time. You know, some doctors are cool and they'll listen to you more. And that's what he was saying. Like, I want you to have this surgery. I know that's what it is, what you need. But we got to try other ish that I know is not going to work. But then send them documentation like, hey, we tried this, we tried that, we tried this, none of it worked. We previously submitted for this surgery, y'all said no. Well, now we're resubmitting, and we need you to say yes. But This was many years ago, and I didn't keep up on it, which I wish I would have, because my ish is still twisted. But that was part of what I was speaking about how people in this country get caught up in the hustle bustle of life, and we put our health on the back burner, and it's just no good. So thanks for watching. I just wanted to share this with everyone, as I thought it was a wild story that society could benefit from hearing. So jump in the comments and share your thoughts or any experiences that may relate to this. And pluck cancer and pluck the insurance industry of the HEALTH variety for being so cold, callous, and cold-blooded. Evil, greedy bastards.